So tell us a little bit about your journey from clinical medicine to utilization management.
Okay, so just briefly, I started my journey in clinical medicine. That was in 2012. Actually, it was when I got out of residency, of course, in 2010. So for a very brief time, I worked in a private practice just for about 6 months. And then I entered my career in the VA hospital system. So from 2011 until 2019, I spent the majority of that time outside of a year and a half basically doing direct patient care in a variety of roles in the VA hospital system. Around 2018 is when I actually started feeling like I want to make a change. Around that time, I had a medical situation where I had to have surgery and I was out for about 6 weeks. And that was really probably the first time I was really forced to kind of sit down and have to really kind of take, an assessment of just my life and my career and where I wanted to be. And around that time is when I thought I wanted to make a career transition. At that time, I was thinking public health. And that's when I started taking some courses at Georgia State to ultimately get a master's degree in public health. So that really is what started my thought process about making a transition. And again, at that time, I thought it would be public health. And that's when I actually left the VA hospital system again for about a year and a half and to go into academia, because at that time, I didn't know, maybe it was just the setting. So I
Hmm.
thought, let me try a different setting. So I
Yeah.
left the VA system, went and worked in an academic setting for about a year and a half, and still felt that itch that it wasn't just this situation. Of course, around that time when I left the VA system, it was October of 2019. So, of course, what happened in that year and a half? COVID, right? So, who would have predicted that during that time when I was making this big transition that that would have happened? So I actually left that position in academia for a telemedicine position back in the VA hospital system, primarily because we were having some pressure to go back in the office. And during
Hmm.
COVID, I just wasn't comfortable in this telemedicine opportunity presented itself. That was also really great to do that transition because I think, if anything, it really cemented that I did not want to do clinical medicine. So I changed my setting doing clinical medicine, and then I
Hmm.
actually changed like the way I was giving it by telemedicine. And then
Hmm.
that also totally cemented it. I was like, I still don't want to be in this kind of the direct patient care. And
Hmm.
so that's when I started doing research into just the different avenues and the different options. I joined Facebook groups. I started listening to podcasts. I started, just looking on like LinkedIn, started updating that
Hmm.
profile,
Hmm.
started rewriting my resume, um, and just started, more so exploring my options about what my transition would look like. So that's kind of the short story of how I started my transition to UM.